What's up, YouTube friends? How you guys doing today? Happy Monday. It's Monday, so you probably already know what time it is. It is time for Money Monday. I decided that instead of sitting in the studio and just recording a video, I would just join you guys for a YouTube live. So hopefully you guys are having a great day today. I want your questions. I want to know in the comment section, let me know what questions you guys have. Sales, marketing, anything having to do with the business of photography. I want your questions. Also, let me know where you are watching this from. Love to kind of interact with everybody and kind of know where you all are watching from. So let's take a look here and see. Set this thing up. Very cool. All right, there we go. Awesome. All right, so here we go. We got some questions and comments coming in right now. Susan, how's it going? She says marketing. Let me know when you're saying marketing, specifically what, hold on, let me clean this here. There we go. Let me know specifically what you want to know about marketing, because I could talk for like, I don't know what the limit is for YouTube Live, but I could talk a lot about it. Let me know specifically for you, for your business, for what you do. What do you need to know about marketing? Because I want to be able to answer that. So let's take a look here and see. Gabriel, how's it going? Watching from Tennessee. Bayou, hi Miguel, how's it going, Bayou? Did I pronounce that right? Bayou, cool name. Susan, watching from Long Island. Tomas says, ha, just finished IG and started on YouTube. Yeah, man. If you guys missed it, Instagram, at Miguel Quiles Jr. I did a live stream for, geez, I don't know, like an hour and a half. Talked about photography, talked about depression. I mean, we had like some serious topics on Instagram. So if you're here, once you're done, you want a little bit more, go over to Instagram at Miguel Quiles Jr. I talk for another hour and a half there. Let's see. And let me know how you guys are liking this format. You know, I've usually on a Monday, I would sit in the studio. I'll have like a couple of different topics. I turn the camera on, I'm by myself, just record the content, and then take some time to edit, post that up, and then, you know, it's there, 2-3 minute video, 4 minutes, whatever. I feel like doing YouTube Live is so much better, you know, because I get to talk to you guys like real time, find out what you guys are up to. You guys can find out what I'm up to. I can answer your questions. It's more interactive. It's more kind of like real time. So I do dig it. Let's see. Hydro Moonlight says, sup. iTrix Super Wetba from Lancaster, PA. Actually, I'm pronouncing that wrong. Is it Lancaster? Yeah, Lancaster. I've been there. It's beautiful. Alteric, how's it going? From Omaha, Nebraska. Benji, New Jersey in the house. Yes, indeed. Mick, IG Live and YouTube all in one day. Dude, I am the marathon man today. I'm doing it all. It's fun. Vince, what's up, Miguel? Nice to catch another one of your live streams. It is really good to have you here, Vince. Thank you. Let's see. Ryan, hello. How's it going? Bayou, how to get clients easily. So that's a really good question. I think that the easiest way to get clients is word of mouth, because you don't have to talk to any of these people, right? You have other people that are doing that on your behalf. So how do you get people to talk about what you do and talk about your business? Part of it could be that you're monetizing it. You know, you could say, hey, for every person that you that books a session with me that you refer, you give them credit for a photo shoot of their own. So a lot of different ways to do it. The key with word of mouth is that you have to make sure that everybody that you work with, every client, every prospective client that you work with, that they have a good experience interacting with you and interacting with your business. And so that's the, I gotta love YouTube Live sometimes. It disconnected there, but so I don't know where I was in answering that question. Let me go back to it. Oh yeah, about clients. So the easiest way for you to be able to get clients easily is to basically go and make the clients that you've already worked with like raving lunatics about you and your services and how you do business, and they'll go out and they'll promote your business for you. And that's pretty awesome because you get paid from that initial interaction, that initial business that you did with them. And then you're just getting all of this like kickback afterwards. It's pretty awesome. Let's see, going back through the comments here. Seems like it went out of order. No, it didn't. Never mind. Brandon from Brooklyn, how's it going? I'll be in Brooklyn pretty soon doing a workshop. Keep an eye out for that. Enrique, how's it going from Mexico? Welcome. Burning Place, Jersey. Jersey in the house. Did mío saludos de Puerto Rico. Desde Puerto Rico. Sorry. Spanish is rough. How's it going? Dion, tips for shooting full-length fashion. I like shooting full length with a long lens, like a 70-200. So I would tell you my biggest tip is to back up and zoom in. And you can do full body, full length fashion shots with a long lens. I feel like it helps to give you a different perspective than what most people are usually doing, which is shooting in a small space with a wide lens. Makes people kind of distorted. Sometimes that looks great. Sometimes it looks weird. So I would tell you, if you have the space, back up 70-200, zoom into 200 or somewhere thereabouts, and you'll get something that looks pretty cool. Let's see, sorry if the camera is shaking here. It's weird. The chat doesn't stay on screen. I kind of wish it did. That'd make life kind of easy. Let's see. How do you justify to current clients and potential clients a raise in your prices? And when should one raise their prices? So how do you justify it? I think that we're more worried about justifying the rate than they are in hearing us justify it. So I think that we have to eliminate the thought that they would ever need us to justify our prices, right? Because it's kind of like, it's like this. If you, some of these big brands that are out there, like the Apples of the world, the Microsofts of the world, they'll come out with a product and the price will be much higher maybe than the year before. And maybe it offers the same exact like feature set, but it's more money. You don't hear them go and say, well, the reason why we did it is because of this and that, because it's like, it doesn't matter. Once you go down that road of having that conversation, it really doesn't matter what the reason is, right? Then it just opens up a conversation that like no one wants to have, right? Because it's not helping anyone out. Once you start to justify, they'll say, well, like if you say, for example, just go down the rabbit hole with this. Let's say you say, well, the reason I raised my prices is because I bought all this new camera equipment so I could take better photos for you. And they say, okay, well, here's the thing. There's another photographer down the road. They have better gear than you do and their prices are lower. I should probably just book with them. And they're like, oh crap, what the heck do I say now? Like, this is all messed up. So this is where I say, like, justifying your price. For me, there's only one Miguel Quiles, right? And it might sound kind of crazy, but I'm very confident in my process and my skills and my ability to deliver the client a great image. I don't know about the other person, but I'm very confident in that. And that's how I justify anything that I do. So if I raise my price, you know what? That's what it takes to have to work with me. And either you're down with that or you're not. And that's totally okay. When someone should raise their prices, I think that you should continually raise your price. At the very least, every 6 months. Just gradually increase your pricing. Life gets more expensive day in and day out. So it's really important that, if you're charging the same thing you were charging 10 years ago, you're probably not in business anymore. So don't think too much. And I have a video coming out. One of the videos I was going to record was actually on this topic. And the idea is selling out of your own pockets. Like, we're worried when we raise our prices that, well, I could afford myself now, but if I raise my price, I won't be able to afford myself. So I'm not going to raise my prices because then no one else could afford me. Well, the reality is it's not about you pricing your work for yourself, right? It's about you providing the service, the value to people that might want to book you such that the service is a little bit more than what you're asking for, right? So if you're coming to the gates and you say it's $1,000 for a headshot session, you're only giving them $500 in value, they're probably not going to book you. But if you say it's $1,000 headshot session and they see $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 worth of value in working with you, they'll probably book you, right? With the only caveat being that if they don't like you because you're cocky, you're stuck up, you're a jerk, your breath smells bad, you said something about their mama, whatever, it doesn't matter how much value you bring to the table. And this is another video, another topic that I'll be doing, talking about value and why value is not everything. There are a lot of people talking about value and why it's important for you to provide value to people. And yes, it is important, but at the end of the day, we're doing business with other human beings, with other people. And if they don't like you, it doesn't matter how much value you bring to the table, right? So hopefully that answers the question. Let's see, Vince, live stream is nice, can dish out a lot more info. Totally, I agree. If you guys like the live stream, definitely make sure that you give it a thumbs up while you're watching. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, by the way, I need you to subscribe. Like, it's really important. I'm trying to do a live stream here really soon. It's going to be a march to 30,000. I'm like only 1,000 and change away from 30,000 subscribers, which is a really big goal of mine. So hopefully you guys can help me get there. If you're watching this, you enjoy the content, and maybe you have friends that you think might enjoy the content, please share it with them and ask them to subscribe, because that helps me to be able to bring you guys more content, for me to take time out of my day and talk to you guys about whatever. I want to be able to help the most amount of people possible. And so you guys subscribing definitely helps me to do that. So let's see. Timothy, hi, Mr. Keelis. How are you? L Trick says, yes, Lane Kister. I knew it was, oh man, I knew that too. Jeez. I love Lane Kister. Lancaster. Yeah, I still can't say it right. It's my nose. I'm going to blame it on my nose. Stefan says, hello from New Zealand. Tuesday morning here. Dang, already? Monday's already done? Dude, that's crazy. Hope you have a good Tuesday morning. Susan, how do you get over fear of raising your prices and how to get more people in front of my camera? I mean, I sort of kind of talked about that, how to get over your fear of raising your prices. The real, I guess, short answer to that would be not to sell out of your own pockets, right? We're worried about raising our prices because we're afraid that we can't afford ourselves. And if we can't afford ourselves, then no one else can afford us. So I'm not going to do that. But that's not true, right? We are able to charge whatever it is that we want to charge, so long as you're able to give that person a great experience. You're able to give them a product or a service that they need, want, and desire. And then you can charge whatever you want. I mean, how is it that, Louis Vuitton could sell a purse for thousands of dollars that I could go to Target and go buy for like 20 bucks? It's like, it's crazy to me. And how to get more people in front of your camera? It's marketing. It's word of mouth. Word of mouth has been really good for me over the years. When you give somebody a great experience in working with you, they tend to tell other people about that. And then those people come in, you give them a great experience, they tell more people about that. And to be honest, I think last year was probably the best year that I've had of getting business from word of mouth. So take pictures of people, post it on social media, make sure those people have a great experience working with you. They'll turn around, tell other people who will hopefully come and have a great experience working with you as well. And just market, get yourself in front of as many people who have the potential of booking you as possible, networking events, social gatherings, things of that nature. And all of that should hopefully help you out. Good question. Amarius, my bro, blessings, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Paul, you are a role model. No, don't make me the role model. Please don't. I am not a role model. I'm just a guy. I tend to tell people I'm a student of the game, right? Like, I've had certain experiences that I've been very fortunate and very blessed to have. And I'm just sharing it with you guys, and hopefully you guys can be my role model. Hopefully you guys can take what I'm telling you and turn it into something really amazing. So, but I do appreciate the support and the love. Ultrix says, what's good? Are you going to be at Shutterfest this year? I'm definitely going to be there. I have 3 classes. And I'm working on doing something after hours as well, but I will be at Shutterfest. Looking forward to it too. Susan, how do you get over your issues with not feeling good enough? Just get better. Every day I try to do something to get better, whether it be reading, watching a tutorial, practicing. I pick up my camera every single day and I'll photograph anything, reading books. I mean, there's so many ways that you can get better in a day that there's literally not enough hours in the day for you to do them all. So do one of them, do any of them. And that's how you get over not feeling good enough. I don't feel good enough sometimes. I mean, I've had many days where I woke up and I'm just like, man, I don't know if I got it anymore. You know, it's like a very normal ebb and flow of photography and of the business. And so on that side of things, I kind of talked about this on Instagram, but on that side, that's where it's important for you to be doing healthy things and positive things, exercise, social interaction, other hobbies outside of photography. All of these things help you with your mental health so that these situations don't happen as much. And if they do, you're equipped to be able to work through them. So good question. Alteric, what do you do when you struggle with posing models? So I have a video where I talk about posing models. It was from last month, I believe. So I use that. But to be honest with you, there's so many different ways. That's just one technique. And I have follow-up videos coming where I'll talk about this a little more. But that's not the only technique that I would use in that video that I talked about. I have a lot of techniques in my back pocket. Sometimes one of the techniques that I use, I save photos from magazines that I really love. And I save a variety of different photos and then I'll show them and I'll say, hey, could you do something like this in terms of a pose? Oftentimes getting him to play a character like I talked about in my video will give me something that looks good. Ultimately, you have to be able to communicate with somebody, make them feel good, make them feel comfortable with working with you. And then you can pretty much say whatever and you'll get good expressions out of them. It's a weird thing because like I've had to sit back. Over the years, it's gotten easier. And now I'm like, well, why is it easy? And then I have to dissect, well, what am I doing now that I wasn't doing back then? And I'm sure there's still stuff that I'm doing right now that if you were a fly on the wall, you'd be like, oh my gosh, you just did this. And I didn't even know that that would yield that result. I'm like, oh, wow, that's crazy, right? So I'm still figuring out a lot of those things. And as I figure them out, I'll make a video and I'll talk about them. But those pillars of success are making sure that people are happy with working with you. They're having a good time. They're having a positive experience, that you're interacting with them professionally. And that helps tremendously. Let's see. Let's see. Burning Palace. Do you do any local workshops or lessons? I do one-on-ones at my studio in New Jersey, and I do have workshops. One of them will be in Brooklyn, hopefully in March. I'll have more details about that soon. Let's see. Kofi is watching from Toronto, Canada. Dude, I want to get back to Canada. I love Toronto. Beautiful place. Take a sip for the working man. All right. JV Films and Melodic Photography. You the best around. Man, I butchered that. I'm sorry. Let me try it again. You the best around. I appreciate that. Thank you. I probably butchered that one too. Nothing going to take you down. I hope not. You know what might take me down is these freaking colds that I've had for like months now that won't go away. Holy cow. I like winter this year. I don't know what's in the air, what is going on, but it has been kicking my butt left and right. It's like I wake up in the morning, I'm like ready to go. I've got a photo shoot, about to do a video, you know, something around the photo shoot. And I wake up and like my back hurts, got a cold, got a cough, no video. Sucks. I'm complaining. I'm sorry. Bayu says, thanks for the answers about the clients, how to deal with lack of confidence. I kind of talked about this a little bit, but when it comes to lacking confidence, get better. You know, every single day, every moment. You guys watching this right now, I'm hoping that something that I say to you resonates with you and helps you to get better at whatever it is that you do, whether it be on the business side of things, the photography side of things. But even if you weren't watching, reading a book, watching a photography tutorial, watching other videos on my YouTube channel, these are all things that I hope that will help you to get better. And as you get better, you'll be more confident. But I could tell you that even when you get better, you're still going to have a lack of confidence. I've worked with plenty of people, many photographers, famous photographers, that they still have those days where they come in and they think they don't have it, or they're on autopilot, right? We all go through that. It's a creative thing. It's okay. Sebastian says, hi from Redlands, California. How's it going? Susan says, should you start including product? I'm a shoot and burn, and I want to be more than that. So by adding product, would that justify my raising my prices? Does that sound right or stupid? You know, I honestly like shooting or selling products for me is a really tricky thing to answer because selling product takes time, right? That product is an extension of your business and of your brand. So you can't just go and say, for example, somebody wants a print. Well, where are you getting these prints from, right? What quality are those prints? How consistent are they at delivering that quality of print? If it's some other product, where are you sourcing those products from? What kind of margins are you going to get on them? Um, so when it comes to that, I would tell you if you have the right type of business and you have the right type of mindset to be able to offer products and you can kind of decipher what a good deal is for paying for a print or paying for a printed product, then I would say go for it, you know, sell a product. But when it comes to using the product as a reason to justify your raise in prices, I would tell you it's not necessary. I don't really sell too many printed products unless it's like, you know, I've had stores that have hired me for photo shoots and then they want like a big print. And I always tell them, you guys, I'm giving you the digital file. You can go ahead and, you know, do what you want with it. And they pay a hefty premium for that. So I'm totally fine with just giving that away. Or I tell them, hey, if I got to take time out of my day to go and find a printer to go and print this like huge poster for you, I'm going to charge you for that. And sometimes they're cool with it and sometimes they aren't. So that's where I would tell you that I wouldn't use that as a justification for raising your prices. You don't need to justify your raise in prices. It's the bottom line. You have to be confident in that whatever price it is that you're telling your clients, this is what I'm charging, that you're giving them enough value to justify that. And you know if you're giving them enough value by them booking you or not. If they say, well, wow, that's way too expensive. Well, they see the price that you're asking them to pay is way higher than the value you're bringing to the table. So you sell on more value. Could be products, could be giving them an additional retouched file. It could be faster delivery. I mean, there's a million different ways, maybe not a million, but there's a lot of different ways to be able to add additional value without having to dip into giving, like paying for something to give to them, if that makes sense. Let's see, Benji, what's your go-to focal length for headshots? I seem to prefer Hurley. Oh, I've seen Peter Hurley use his 70-200 lens, and he's pretty close to his client. I was wondering what focal length you use, 70, 80, 90, or 100. I love 70-200. If I was shooting on a tripod, like from what I've heard, from what I've seen when he does his stuff at like workshops and trade shows, I see him on a tripod. So if you're on a tripod, 70-200 is great. If you got muscles and stamina, 70-200 is great. I would shoot everything with that. The reality for me, for the type of headshot work that I do, I love shooting 85. So I would say 85 would be great. But to be honest with you, it depends on the person, right? So as a photographer and as a professional photographer, we're very much like a carpenter. You know, we come to the job with a toolbox with a bunch of different tools for whatever the job or the situation calls for. If I use an 85 and they're not looking great with an 85, I break out the 90 macro. If the 90 macro doesn't look good, I break out the 100 STF. If the 100 STF doesn't look good, I break out the 70-200. If they don't look good with any of those lenses, then it's probably me. I need to change my lighting, change my approach, change something. But yeah, there's no one size fits all. 70-200 is about as close as you can get to that. And I would say that would be my choice if you had to take all the lenses away, because I have all of those focal lengths, you know, within that 70-200. So good question. Mick says, have you used the Sling Studio for live stuff? I tried it for a worship center and it worked great. Used the A7 III and A6500 and audio and such. Yeah, I actually, I didn't try the Sling Studio, but I do have an HDMI capture card. And I was going to use my A7 camera to hook it up to my laptop, use OBS Studio to be able to stream, and I will be doing that soon. What I found that was kind of weird and why I didn't do it today and why I didn't do it for the last one, which, hold on, there we go. What was weird was that when I would record the live stream through OBS, it was weird. It's like it doesn't show up on my feed to watch later. Like I could see it, but other people weren't able to see it. And then it took like a week or two before I posted up. So I don't know what happened there. Like this live stream, once it's done, you'll be able to go to my feed and you'll see it there. For some reason, the ones through OBS don't do that. So I don't know. It's probably operator error, but I do plan on doing exactly what you're describing. Susan says, got it. Thank you. My pleasure. Gordon, how's it going? He says, we'll definitely pass along to all my friends. Miguel, getting you to 30K subscribers. I have to ask you, no New Jersey accent. Thank you for helping me to get to 30K. Good to see you as well. And no New Jersey accent, because technically I was born in Connecticut. My mom and dad are Puerto Rican, full-blooded, and I lived probably 80% of my life in Florida. So I'm all messed up. I don't have the Jersey accent. I may not ever have it. I don't know. Yeah, it might not ever happen. I'm kind of happy about that, though, because it'd be kind of weird at this point if people know me, like all my friends and stuff that I grew up with, and then all of a sudden I started talking with a Jersey accent. That'd be a little weird. I'm sure you guys would agree. Ivan, hello from Dominican Republic. DR in the house. How's it going? Bayou says you are a humble person, Miguel. Thank you. I try, honestly. Like, it's weird to say you try to be humble, but like, you know, there's a part of being a photographer in this space where you want to like put out a personality that you aren't congruent with, right? Like you try to make yourself sound like everything is great. It's hunky dory. You're super successful. You're super this and that and the other. That's not me. And to be honest with you, I started to go down that road. I remember I was at a store in New York. I was doing a workshop, and I had been putting out videos for probably a couple of years at this point. And I was doing my workshop in the class. And after the class, the student comes up to me and they're like, man, you're so much different in person than you are in your videos. And I didn't think about it too much. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird that you say that. And then I left and I'm like, you know, they kind of have a point. I am different in my videos than I am in person, because in my videos, I'm very like, if this makes sense, I'm very corporate, right? Like I'm very like, hey, how's it going, everyone? Miguel Quiles here. In today's video, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z, right? Like that's like the corporate, right? That's like the corporate face. But the reality is, and something that I've been working on, and I'm hoping that you guys see this in my videos, you guys see this in the live stream, but I'm trying to be more humble and more genuine, and more of how it would be if we met and we were talking in person, how I would actually interact with you. I wouldn't be talking like, hey, how's it going, Billy? Miguel Quiles sitting across the table from you. And today I want to talk to you about 5 ways that I use autofocus on my A7 III. Stay tuned. Like, that's weird, right? Like, hopefully you guys see where I'm coming from. It's kind of odd, right? But I'm trying to interact with people in a way that's more genuine, in a way that's more humble, because that's me. Like it's easier, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Thank you for the comment, though. I do appreciate that, and glad that you guys are kind of seeing that. Let's see, going back here. Thanks for the IG Live. Thank you for watching. Alterix says, I made a pose book, but I feel that they think I don't know how to pose when I show them, which I don't. Honestly, like I have a gallery that I have on my phone of like different poses, and I show people all the time, and no one ever thinks that I don't know how to pose. I think that some people you could speak to and they understand. Some people you can like gesture and you could do like an example of the pose and they get it. And other people are more visual, and you have to show them an actual photo. Like, you see this picture right here? I want you to look like this. And they're like, oh, okay, I get it. It's nothing on you as the photographer. It's not like you don't know how to pose, unless you're projecting that energy to them that you don't know what the heck you're doing, in which case, stop doing that. Don't do that, man. When you go to the photo shoot, you have to be confident. You have to be cool. You have to be calm. If the poses aren't working, don't freak out. There's other ways to be able to get good poses and expressions out of people. You just got to figure it out. Sorry about that. Told you guys I'm struggling. Let's see. Let me take a sip here as I read this question. Someone says, when I was 6, oh, here we go. We got a trivia question here. When I was 6, my sister was the half of my age. Now I'm 60. What is the age of my sister? Well, Let's see. So if I know this is a trick question, right? So if she's half of your age now and you're 60, then she's 30. Am I right? Trying to be tricky. Josh says, Miguel, dude, keep crushing it, man. Thank you. I appreciate the support. He says, learning a ton from you, man. Love this stuff. Let's get it. Totally agree. Let's get out there and get this. Steven or Stefan says, I struggle with how I'm progressing with my photography. Sometimes I think I suck. Other times I think my work is quite good. How do you judge your progress? I think that judging your progress comes with you developing your eye. So as your eye towards good photography gets better, you tend to look at your photos and you start to like realize, well, this photo wasn't as good as it could be, and here's why. And that comes with you practicing. And the more that you shoot, the more you refine and you develop your eye, and you're able to kind of like figure out what those things are. The other thing that could be valuable is you doing like a paid portfolio critique. That goes a long way. Being able to go to another working professional, say, here's my body of work. What do you think? How can I improve? What are some things I should stop from doing if you see a pattern? And that also can help you. That's something that I've done. I have a circle of friends that are in the business that I reach out to you. And when I take photos, I show it to them every so often. And I'm like, hey, tear this apart. And sometimes they tear it apart for stupid stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Right. And other times they're just like, wow, this is great. And other times there's mixed reviews, right? So all of that stuff, you take it with a grain of salt, and it helps you to be able to get better. Altric says, you really helped me last year at Shutterfest when we shot outside and you showed us to try to shoot at f4, and I loved it. Oh, I remember that one. Can't wait for the new firmware for the A9. Yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm still on that same mode. You know, we did a photo walk at Shutterfest, and I don't remember, how many people do you think were at this photo walk? I mean, I felt like it was a ton of people. We had like 6 or 7 models, and I had to break everyone up into groups, but everybody was shooting wide open with every lens that they owned. And I was like, listen, we're not doing that today. That's not what I'm about. We're going to shoot all these photos at f4, f5.6, f8, and let's see what we turn up with. And the next thing you know, people are getting these like beautiful shots, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So it's pretty fun. Let's see, Hydro Moonlights, how is your experience with starting photography using not so fancy gear? How did it turn? Thanks. I started professionally with a Canon T3i, and I had that for less than a month. It was the best camera that I could afford to where I could get a lens for it. And it was funny because I'll have to tell this story at length, but basically the short version of the story is that at the time I was very big into playing Magic the Gathering, the card game, spent thousands of dollars, spent hundreds, thousands of hours playing the game at local stores, tried to go pro. And at some point I was like, you know what? I really don't want to do this anymore. So I sold the cards and I bought the best camera that I could buy at the time, which was a T3i with a 50mm 1.8 lens. And then within, I think it was maybe like 3 weeks later, Best Buy had a sale and they had the 60D for basically like $100 more, but it came with like a better lens, a better kit lens. I think it was a 28 to 135. So I went in, traded my T3i, gave him everything back, paid the extra 100, got the 60D, had that for a few months. Some kid at Full Sail in Orlando, Florida, he had a 5D Mark II with a 17 to 40 L series lens, and he sold it to me for like pennies on the dollar. So I bought that. So I had a 5D Mark II and a 60D, and I just kind of eventually just kept progressing. As I would make money in photography, I would save it and then reinvest it in bodies and lenses and so on and so forth. So I would say in the beginning, do the best with what you got. You don't have to have really expensive gear, but as you make money with your photography, instead of going out with the guys or going out with the girls and spending that money, save that money and reinvest it into new equipment and improving your skills. And it's not just about the equipment. Doing workshops, buying tutorials online, things of that nature will hopefully help you out. Junior Valdez says, keep going, buddy. You're good. Thank you. Appreciate the love. Altric says he was born in Newark. right around the corner from me. Newark's like 45 minutes away. Junior says also from Dominican Republic. What's up? DR in the house. Let's see. Robert says RH Photography NYC. Hi from Brooklyn, New York. How's it going? Photo Me Ike. How's it going? See you out there watching. You got all the eyeballs. Good to see you out there. Ultrix says, thanks, bro. You're welcome. Let's see. JV Film says, take a sip, sign the check. Julio, get the stretch. I love it. See, that's what happens when your voice is all jacked up. I can't do Bruno Mars. Richard says, hi from the Netherlands. How's it going? Photo Me Ike says, Miguel, you going to do any live shoots on YouTube? That's the plan. But when I do it, I'm trying to get my A7 III to hook up to my computer through OBS. So I'm working through the technical side of that. But yeah, that is the plan. I think that would be a lot of fun. Keaton Ward says, what is more important as a photographer, a website or an Instagram profile? I would tell you Instagram profile for sure, because that takes a while for you to get it going. And I feel like nowadays, for many people, Instagram is their gallery of their work. And it also provides social proof for customers and potential clients. So Instagram is very important. I know people who've lost opportunities because they didn't have an Instagram or their Instagram following was not big enough. So yeah, for sure, Instagram. But you should have a website too. It's so affordable these days. You can get something like Squarespace, for example. Super affordable, super easy to set up. You should have both. It shouldn't be either or. But if you're in a world where it's either or, then it's Instagram for sure. Bayu says, I do photo landscape fashion learning. Very cool. Math Fan says, can almost every question you get be answered? It depends, because people are usually far too vague. I mean, yeah, it could always be, it depends, but I try to give a little bit of information. There's so much context that you can give within a question, and usually it requires a little bit of like a follow-up question. And unfortunately, with YouTube Live, with the way that other questions are coming in, that question doesn't get answered, because I have to like follow up and say, well, what about this? Like when you're saying this, what about this? And then I have to wait for them to reply back. So that's why I say it depends. But if I have to guess based off the little bit of information that you gave me, this is what I would say. So yeah, I guess you got a point. Let's see, Photo Me Ike. If it's over F2, I don't know what to do. Don't lie. Don't lie. You got jokes now. Oh man. Let's see, baby. My wife suggested me to watch your YouTube channel. Dude, that's awesome. Your wife has good taste. That's why she picked you, right? Rob Royce. How has the new laptop, the ZBook X2 working? Dude, it works fantastic. I feel terrible because I've been trying to do the follow-up video for that, and I have so much stuff, and now it's just like piling. Short answer is it's freaking amazing. Get it. Still using mine, and I love it. Macula Madness, yo, what's good? How's it going? Gordon Lau, did you sell any of the Power 9 and MTG to afford your gear? Black Lotus or Time Walk? Thank God for cockatrice. No, funny enough, I was selling all of the standard legal cards at the time. So like I had a ton of Jace the Mind Sculptors, which were going for like $100 a pop. I didn't have any of like the classic cards, but I had everything that was like high dollar in standard at that time. Those are the cards that I had, and I had a ton of them. I mean, I would buy, like, it was pretty crazy. I'd do a draft, and when you win your drafts, you usually win like 8 packs. So what I would do is I would save, instead of getting those packs, I would just leave a credit there. And then I get to the point where I have a big enough credit to where I just get a whole booster box. Then I open the booster box, I start ripping packs. I end up with more cards, resell them, trade them to people. I mean, I was hustling. I was straight up hustling. But yeah, it was a good time. I unfortunately never had Black Lotus and some of these other cards. I feel like you had to play Magic the Gathering like when it first came out for you to have a chance to have any of those cards. Like nowadays, psh, yeah, it ain't happening. Let's see. Ahmed says, hey, Miguel, big fan. And I wanted to ask, what's the most lens you favor to use mostly? It changes from time to time. I would say nowadays, I love using the 100 STF a lot. And it's pretty much been like that since it was released, partly because no one else uses it. And I feel like it provides a look that's different. So when I post pictures, people are like, yo, what lens did you use? And I say, I used the 100 STF. And they're like, wow, I never heard of that. I don't know anyone else using it. So once you guys start using it, I'll switch to something different, right? It's a good lens. Let's see. C and Ink, have you achieved Ultra Instinct yet? You know what? I've achieved Ultra Instinct Omen, right? But I haven't gone fully into Mastered Ultra Instinct. I'm still working on that. You know, unfortunately, my key is just like leaking, it's overflowing. So hopefully I'll be able to consume that, keep it in my body, master Ultra Instinct. And then when I start taking photos, it's going to be crazy. You won't even see, you're going to be watching the tutorial. You'll be like, yo, where's Miguel? And you just see like an empty studio. And I'm going to be moving so quick. You'll just see the flashes going off. So you'll know that I'm in there, but you won't see me because Ultra Instinct. You got to be a DBZ fan or Dragon Ball Super fan in this case to know what the heck I just talked about. Let's see. Robert Photo, how many headshots portraits do you shoot monthly? How do you approach new clients with, sorry. How do you approach new clients these days? How many headshots, portraits do you shoot monthly? You know, it varies from month to month. It depends. Sometimes I have a lot of like travel stuff booked. I would say minimum 5 a month when there's a lot of travel. It just kind of varies and goes from there. Hold on. What was the other follow-up question to that? How do you approach new clients these days? Going to networking events, shaking hands, kissing babies, as I like to say, letting them know what I do, finding out what they do, figuring out ways to get them to work with me through what they do. Macula says, toss up A9 or A7R3 for portrait photography because A9 is what I own. Man, I love the A9 performance-wise. I would tell you if I had to choose between the two, you can't go wrong with the A9, bottom line. Gabriel says, coming from Canon, I'm having high anxiety fully switching over. I've been using A7R3 mostly, but I can't let go of my 5Ds. How did you transition? Man, dude, if the A7R3 doesn't do it, I don't know what will. I went from the original A7. I had that, and it's funny because it was very similar to my Canon experience. I had it for 3 weeks. Sony announced the A7 II, and they said it was coming out like December 12th or something like that, 2014. And so what I did was late November, I returned the camera and I waited till the A7 II came out, picked up the A7 II. And at that point, I had an A7 II. I bought an A6000 because it was Christmas time and they had a deal. So I had A6000 as a backup and an A7 II. And at the time, I was shooting with a 5D3 and a 7D. And basically, I did every photo shoot from that point forward. I had an adapter and I shot with my A7 II because I love the features. I love the experience so much. I didn't reach for my 5D at all. I mean, basically, once I started shooting with it, there were so many pros to shooting with mirrorless that I was like, you know, the only reason I would go back to shooting Canon at that point in time was because of comfort. But part of the way my psyche and the way my mind is built, I don't want things to be super easy all the time. I mean, I kind of do, but like I'm up for the challenge. And if I know that there's more pros than cons, I go with that. And so that's what I ended up doing. My 5D3 sat in my camera bag for like 7 months. At that point, I was like, okay, I think I'm a Sony guy, you know, and I got rid of my Sony cameras. And then I don't even remember how long after that it was, but that's when the conversations with Sony started. And then, you know, they asked me to be an artisan, and it's crazy. So yeah, that's my story. Gabriel says, I use the STF all the time, but don't switch. Dude, STF is a beast. I know you love that one too. Bayu says, is it possible to get some review of your work as your student from you? Yes. If you join my Facebook group, it's facebook.com/groups/improve your photography. I usually will post on there. I'm going to start doing more portfolio critiques, and I plan on doing one this month. So keep an eye out for that post, and it will tell you how to submit your photos. Lawrence says, I own the Sony 85 1.4 G Master and the 50 1.4, thinking of getting Sigma 105 or the 135. Which do you suggest? I've used both lenses. Oh man. Um, Honestly, I would tell you, this is probably not going to be the answer you want to hear. I would tell you not to get either of those two and just wait, because the 105 for me, the autofocus performance wasn't great. I had a lot of shots that I did during my photo shoot that I would use the lens just like I did any other lens, but it was not hitting the eye every time, which is really frustrating. And both of those lenses are really big. So I would say I would rather have a 70 to 200 G Master for the size before I would get one of these two lenses. So if you don't have a 70 to 200 G Master, and I know it's more, but I would tell you don't get either of those two and just save up and get that because it's really good. CNX says, respect, bro, laugh out loud. See, you thought I wasn't on my DBZ and my DBS game, but I am, man. I appreciate that. Macula says, someone give this man some water. Dude, I got it. Hold on. Feel good. There we go. CNX. Cold calling is the cheapest, best way to approach. Just keep at it. Cold calling it works. You know, it's like a weird thing when you say cold calling to some people, especially if you're younger, if you're like in the millennial generation, you hear cold calling and it's like if I was to tell you, hey, you should watch this movie on a black and white TV, right? Like that's not appropriate these days, but cold calling is still very appropriate. It works. I use it all the time, and there's less competition in that arena in this space versus other types of businesses that are out there. There's less photographers that are calling on businesses and other people than like other types of businesses that are out there, mortgage brokers and insurance salespeople and stuff like that. And you're actually selling them something that they might actually want to do. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Jack says, going to an anime con in 2 weeks. Any tips when working with new people? Yeah, biggest tips, be confident that whatever it is that you're trying to get them to do is going to yield a great image, and then take a great image, you know, and make them really happy and excited about it. They turn around and tell their friends and their friends and their friends. And yeah, so just be confident. That's the biggest tip. Steve says, thoughts on 100 macro. Don't own one, have an off-camera flash. 100 macro is great. I would say having a macro lens for portrait photography is like a must-have. If you end up having somebody who has a really great face with great texture, you need a macro to capture that. So 100 macro, 90 macro, whatever it takes, get one. Mick says, any inside scoop on the 135 G Master that's coming out? Nope, no inside scoops. But if it comes out, I will definitely use it. Gabriel says, thanks. It's the comfort of knowing Canon inside and out, I guess, but the Sony definitely gives me cleaner files, and eye focus is just a game changer. Definitely is a game changer. And I would tell you that the more that you use the camera, the easier it gets. And honestly, if you use it just for stills, for shooting stills, you're not digging in the menus for anything. Like, this is the one thing that kills me when people talk about, oh, Sony's menu system is so big and there's so much stuff. I rarely am in the menus. Like, if I'm in the menus, I'm not talking to my clients. I'm not like thinking out of the box creatively. I'm in my menus. Like, the menus are there. If you set your camera to RAW, you set it to shoot RAW. If you have a certain creative style you're applying to your images, you set it once and you forget it. Your resolution is set it, forget it. Like most things that you would go into the menu for, it's already set. And everything else, you could set custom buttons if it's something you go to often, and then you can access it that way. So the more that you use it, the more comfortable you're going to be with it. Ashley says, any female photographers you can recommend to follow for inspiration? Heck yeah. There's a lot of amazing female photographers out there. Mirako, amazing. Carolyn Jensen, who's a Sony artisan, amazing. Brooke Shaden, Lindsay Adler, Susan Stripling, Sue Bryce, Annie Leibowitz, Tina Eisen, Jen Collins. Geez, I could keep going. Caleb and Gladys on Instagram. One half of those is a female photographer. Geez, there's a lot. I mean, I could probably continue to go on. There's a lot of tremendous female photographers that are out there, and there's some that are just killing the game. So check those out, and then I'll get back to you with some more. Steve says, thoughts on macro close-up for eye-focused portraits? It's the only way to do it that I know of. It would work well. Oh, I see Bayu says Julia Kuzmenko. Yes, she is also fantastic in the beauty photography world. Definitely check out her work as well. Robert says, I love your old videos where you showed us that you could achieve great results with cheap gear. Lighting is key. Keep rolling, Miguel. Yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. I have a video right now that's on deck that's going to be talking about doing stuff with really cheap gear. And it's going to be silly. Like, it's going to be a little bit silly. I hope you guys get the joke, but then at the same time, I also hope it helps you guys out. But it's going to be a great video. I can't wait. Robert says, do you shoot portraits uncompressed? Yeah, everything is uncompressed. Storage is cheap these days. I mean, I have stacks and stacks of hard drives. So just get, get good storage and shoot uncompressed. Ashley says, thanks so much. Trying to find more inspiration. I'm happy to help. And I would tell you, find inspiration from wherever it might come. It doesn't have to be that it's like a female photographer or a male photographer. I get inspiration from watching movies. I get inspiration from, like, I'm a big anime fan. I watch anime. Certain scenes in anime give me inspiration. The way that they choose to light and shade characters. There's a lot of inspiration out there. We just have to be creative about how we find it. Those names definitely are a great start. But what I would tell you is that find inspiration in other things too, right? Like in movies, media, books. Look at history, right? Look at the history of portrait photography. Find inspiration from that as well. I do that to this day. I'm the nerd that goes to Barnes & Noble and sits down, with a bunch of photography books, and I'll probably end up buying most of them. And I'll see great photos, and I'm like, wow, that's classic. I want to do that. So happy to help. Let's see. Techie says, thoughts on an FE 51.8. I like it. I have it. I don't use it that much. I use it mainly for my workshops. Good lens. It's for the money, fantastic lens. Steve says, what's your most efficient method of skin retouching? So most effective method of skin retouching, I would say, is probably dodge and burn. This is the short answer. It's healing and clone tool on a blank layer, and then dodge and burn the rest. Techie says, movie directors really won how to light, like Spielberg. Yeah, movie directors, I would tell you there's books on lighting for movie sets and for movies that's really, really good. So, like, in other words, find inspiration outside of photography and you'll be surprised. There's some like killer stuff out there. CNN says One Punch Man and Attack on Titan are great inspiration. Not gonna lie, Attack on Titan visually is amazing. One Punch Man also, it's very silly, but also totally agree, 100%. My jam right now is Naruto. That has a lot of great stuff too. Altrix says, what's the largest card size you use? I shoot weddings and use 64 gig. Biggest card I think I own is a 256 gig XQD card, but that's for my FS7. For photography, I have 128 gig cards, and I mean, it gets the job done. So, Macula says, great idea for an upcoming video of yours. Take a total noob photographer under your belt for a day. Dude, that seems fun. That actually seems really fun. I like that idea. Got to find a noob. Any noobs out there watching who want to do this? They live in New Jersey? Let me know. Hit me up. Ashley says, nah, I totes agree with you. I follow lots of guy photogs like Ike, laugh out loud. I find a lot of inspiration in surviving with a mental illness, also with paintings and nature. Yeah, totally. I mean, like I say, paintings, huge. Like if you study classic paintings and sculptures, like to me, I try to understand lighting. And if you go to other photographers to try to understand lighting, you're going to understand it from a photographer's perspective. But what's really crazy is somebody who can draw and paint and sculpt with light in mind. Like I still to this day, like I'll see paintings and I'm like, I appreciate it more because I'm like, you know how hard it is to take like a blank canvas and draw a person or a scene and then draw shading on this scene that is such that it looks like it was actually lit by whatever the source is, or you may not even know what the source is. Like, it's insanity. I don't know, but I agree with you. Let's see. Roberto says frequency separation I found is best for skin retouching. If it works for you, good. I would just say most people overdo it, but it is a way to do it. But I would tell you dodge and burn kills frequency separation. Macula says cough, cough. Yeah, I know. Hold on. There we go. One of these days I'll be good like Peter McKinnon. Drives me crazy. You'll watch a video of his, right? And he literally will sit there and be like, in the middle of his tutorial, be like, hold on a second, I need to go and take a sip of coffee. And like 30 seconds goes by, and then I question myself, why in the heck am I watching this man drink this cup of coffee for 30 seconds? It's 30 seconds I will never get back. But I watched it. So I hope that I could get to the point to where I can drink my tea or my soda for 30 seconds. And you guys stay tuned to watch. One day, a boy can dream. Ashley says, I'm a newbie. Awesome. If you're in Jersey, holla. We'll do a video. Let's see. Techie says, who is your photographer collaboration? I do a lot of photographer collaborations. If they're cool, I do them. I've done collabs with Tony and Chelsea Northrup. I've done collabs with Manny Ortiz. I have a lot of other collabs that I plan on doing over the course of this year too. So yeah. Roberta says, what you think? I'll try dodge and burn then. Yeah, try dodge and burn, because frequency separation, people go overboard. The problem with frequency separation is people do it from a global approach, and meaning that they look at the whole face and they just start painting. And it's not about painting the whole face. You don't want to mess up the skin texture that's already good. You just want to target the skin texture that's not good. So you shouldn't be doing it over the whole image. Dodge and burn helps you to really look at the photo and just pinpoint exactly what you need to work on. Techie says B-roll. Yes. But it's like random B-roll though. You know, like it's B-roll that doesn't progress the tutorial. It's B-roll that's like watch some of the videos and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's like brewing a cup of coffee, you know, and it's like how I use Premiere Pro, but yet there's B-roll of him making a coffee and drinking it and talking about how much he loves it, but people still watch it. Like, it's crazy. And then I'll do a video, just not hating. I'm definitely not hating. I'm just saying I want to get there, is what I'm saying. But like, I'll do a video that's like 2 or 3 minutes long that's literally all meat and no fluff, and people complain. And I'm just like, maybe I need to drink more coffee or drink more tea and take 30-second B-roll clips. I don't know. It's crazy. Ashley says, I totally agree with you. I can't draw, sketch, paint for my life. Artists are magical. I had to take an art class and it was hard. Yeah, I had to take art classes in the past and it's not fun. Bayu says, I stay to watch and very useful, the Q&A. Thank you. Thanks for sticking around. Share this with your friends as well and subscribe if you have not subscribed, because I'm trying to hit 30K like ASAP. I'm almost there. CN Inc., any of your Photox modifiers you still use with your new Pro Photo gear? I don't. I still have them and I use them on my, like the few that I have. I use them on my aperture light that I use to light my videos because they take a Bowens mount. They don't take Pro Photo stuff. So I have like 1 octa, and actually it's 2 octas, 1 deep and 1 wide octa. And that's what I use to light like most of my videos on YouTube. I already own them, so why not? Techie says, come into Florida or close for a photo walk. avcstore.com. Hopefully I'll be there, and Miami pretty soon. Ashley says, I'm down. I live in Jersey City, like 10 minutes from NYC. See, we might have to make this happen then. I think that'd be a fun video. Ken Awaken, love your channel. Any tips to book wedding clients for new photographers? Yes. Best advice I would tell you is to try to assist a working wedding photographer. Learn the lay of the land. If you could get to use some of the photos for your portfolio, that'd be great. And once you are confident in your skills and your ability to do an entire wedding and not screw up, then you can start to market yourself, and marketing yourself could be going to bridal shows. Again, most of it's going to be word of mouth in the beginning when you're starting out. But using social media, letting people know that you're shooting weddings, Instagram, Facebook, all of the easy stuff. Like I call it like the low hanging fruit. You hit all of those, and over time, people will start to reach out to you. And then when you get the funds, you could sign up for like Wedding Wire and The Knot and some of these other services that will help you to find brides that might be looking for you. But yeah, that's really it. Steve says, I think most YouTubers have made B-roll their entire videos these days rather than keeping it short and sweet. I totally agree. And again, don't get me wrong. Like, I love the content that these people are putting out. They put out really great stuff. There's just a part of it for me that's kind of humorous, being in the same space and seeing like, okay, I'm teaching something that I know I may not have seen on YouTube, anyone else teaching. I'm just picking a subject, right? Like a certain subject that I've never seen someone talk about. And then someone will like complain about that, the way that it's being delivered or whatever the case might be. And it's like straight to the point. There's like no BS. I'm not drinking coffee. I'm not tying my shoes. I'm not doing different things. Yet I could watch another video that's like 20 or 30 minutes long, and they're goofing off and doing all this like random stuff, and people still tune in and watch, and they don't complain. And it's very weird. It's a funny thing, but I'm figuring it out. Let's see. Will you make a dodge and burn versus frequency separation where you show the difference between the two processes and the different results they yield? Maybe. Seems like a fun video, but it seems like a long one. Maybe. That's my answer for that. Gordon says, your MTG and Dragon Ball Z game is on point. Respect. Have you ever tried using any Rotolite AOS to see how it compares to the 200, 400 watt monolight with on location indoor work? I haven't. No, I haven't tried the AOS. I've tried their Rotolite Neo in the past, and I use it for video lighting, never for stills. Robert says, what do you think about retouching on iPad Pro? I hope to be able to answer that question soon. I may have one. So we'll table that. We'll table that question. Big hi from Poland. How's it going? Macula says, whoa, it was my idea. I'm a noob. Well, you know, it's still up there. We'll see. If it's your idea, if you're in New York, New Jersey, we might work that out. Curtis, what is the minimum starting price to charge for shooting a wedding with a camera? I don't think there is a minimum. I think it depends on what you can offer them. Your minimum might be different in your part of the woods than my minimum. So best way to figure out what the minimum is to figure out what people are charging in your market, figure out what they're offering for that price, and figure out if you can offer that. And if you can, price accordingly. So Alfred says, greetings from Mexico, Mr. Quiles. How's it going? And with that being said, if you guys are still watching right now, if you're watching and you're not subscribed to my channel, please do me a favor. Please subscribe. Please share the videos that I post up. It really, really helps out with, you know, creating new content in the future and things of that nature. It really sucks when you put a lot of time and effort, and, you know, like my video guy, I have to pay him to drive from Queens, New York to come out to the boondocks here in New Jersey. We spend a whole day shooting. He spends hours editing, and then you get 1,000 views on a video. And it's like, it's a lot of work for 1,000 views, man. So, you know, if you guys are enjoying the videos and you're enjoying the content, please consider sharing. Please consider subscribing. I super, super appreciate it. I have to get back to work. I did a 1.5 hour Instagram live, which if you want to hear more, go to at Miguel Quiles Jr. on Instagram. I did a live session on there where we talked about business. We talked about gear. We talked about, we had a really good talk about depression in this creative space, which I think you guys should listen to. I might do a video on that soon. I actually have a video with Eric Sermon from EPMD. And we talked about this. Like, we talked about just like the creative space and how hard it can be. And the video is good. It's a long video, And I'm just waiting for permission to be able to post it. So as soon as I get permission for that, post it up. Really awesome video. I can't wait. Hopefully I get this thing soon. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. Really happy that you guys decided to spend your afternoon and listen to me talk here on my cell phone with my nasal craziness right now. But hope you guys have a great day. Check out my last video as well if you haven't already watched it. Did a really fun cosplay shoot with at Trevor Bell. Really killer. It was probably one of my favorite videos that I put out recently. So definitely check it out. Thanks, Gordon. He says, feel better, bud. Hopefully after I take this Dayquil, I'm going to feel A-okay. So appreciate it, guys. Love you all. And I'll see you guys probably Wednesday. My next video will post up. So see you guys then.